What do you think for the hometown team? For the worst team in NBA history? I mean, that might not even be a true stat, but it's the worst team right now in the Eastern Conference. They're 9-41, the Washington Wizards. So,
Um, you know, I feel as though they're sort of tanking, but also building, if that makes sense. Because look, right, I know Chris Middleton hasn't been the same, since winning the finals or whatever, but he's still an former All Star, former NBA champion.
yep.
He brings that experience, and he's a veteran. So is Reggie Jackson. He's an NBA champion. He's a veteran. JP is an NBA champion.
You see that trend, right? You win a chip, you get shipped off to DC. Look at Kuzma, look at JP, look at Chris, look at Reggie. All won
Right.
rings and they get shipped off to DC.
They need to come out with a different culture in DC. I'm not gonna lie, being from DC and always looking at the Wizards, because me and you go to Capital One almost all the time. I know this is kind of off topic, but you look at the Washington Commanders. And see how Jaden Daniels completely changed their culture.
Completely. Look at this. Look at DC. We have now finally have a culture of football now.
Right.
Something we didn't have.
You tank, and if you can get that number 1 pick and get Cooper Flag at Duke, it's over. Because not only that you get a generational talent, but you can build around the guy too. And he's a winner. The kid's from Maine. And he's a winner. So, and he's the best player on their team as an 18-year-old.
I agree. I agree 1,000% with you. Actually, just even living in the DC area, it's been a losing franchise. This franchise has been the worst franchise I've ever seen in the NBA basketball. You go to a Wizards game, like you said, you see other teams come in. It's not even a Wizards home game. It is the Oklahoma City Thunder home game. It's a New York Knicks home game. It's a Miami Heat home game. You got fans coming from different cities packing up the arena, and they're louder than the own Wizards fans. It's bad when I was at the game when the Knicks were there and Porzingis played for the Wizards, and the Knicks fans all flooded in from New York, and they're booing Porzingis as the Wizards are announcing him. And he plays for the Wizards, and Wizards fans are booing him too. That's it don't make sense to me. Or when we're in the Thunder and SGA's taking his first free throws 1 minute into the game, and we're already hearing MVP chants all around. We're hearing MVP chants in a Wizards arena. Are we serious? That's an issue I have, and
even with Bronny.
Right there, that is a great example. Bronny got MVP chance in Capital One. Team's not marketable. When you see them on the road, you barely see Wizards fans in the arena. You watch other teams play, you see fans will travel way then and far to go see their team play and cheer in the stands, or they have fans in that city. Something rare, that's a rare thing you hear. For me, I've been a big advocate of Kuzma needs to go. I've been saying he's been the problem. I mean, $90 million for a guy who gives up mediocre stats. I mean, doesn't really even want to lead the team. He didn't even want to be there. He wasn't a fit for the team. I like Jordan Poole. I think the Wizards build around Jordan Poole. It's time for them to give Jordan Poole a chance and build around him. And I think Jordan Poole has proved that he's an all-star this year. I mean, he wasn't selected, but he needs help. And I feel as though the guard selection for the Wizards are really good. I like Bub Carrington. I did like Jared Butler before they traded him, but it's time to build around Jordan Poole and bring that winning culture back to DC. Like you said, Jaden Daniels brought culture back during football in one season. Can they do that? Can they do that with Washington? Can the Wizards do that? Maybe not this season, but hey, acquiring Cooper Flag maybe next year and building with Jordan Poole and bringing that. Maybe we might see something special next year. But I'm tired of going to Capital One Arena. SGA scored a long three. Everybody's celebrating, happy, and then when Jordan Poole scores, nobody's really cheering.
Jeremy, now let me bring up a story. Now that you say now, because I'm not gonna lie to you, you really bring up very good points. But you know how I knew the Wizards organization was cooked?
How do you? Yeah, what do you think?
It was the Bucks versus the Wizards in 2023. I was there as a fan, because I used to work there too. So I was there as a fan, and I guess it was just the Bucks versus the Wizards. I ain't think nothing of it, mind you. It's cherry blossom night because they had the pink jerseys at the time, right? And then the floor was different and stuff like that, right? So I'm thinking that it's just gonna be like Bucks versus Wizards. I ain't think nothing of it, right? Tell me why the entire arena was full of people from Greece with the flags up, with Giannis's jerseys up.
Nah.
You would think I'm being so serious. Like it
On
was
Cherry
Greece
Blossom
flags
night?
on Cherry Blossom night.
What?
Yeah,
That's the
yeah.
and
Like
Cherry Blossom night is when they wear the nice jerseys, the
nice
actual nice
jersey.
ones. What?
Right, right. I was like, "There's no way." Like that's how much, and that's the thing too. Like I couldn't believe it. I thought I was in Greece for a moment. Like Giannis was getting cheered like he was Rocky. Like you heard this man's like name echoed around the whole arena. And
What?
Porzingis had like a 35-point night that game,
And no one cared.
and no one really cared.
Damn.
I mean, at the end, it started getting crazy because it was a close game, but
Mm-hmm.
in the whole, like throughout the whole game, it was just straight Giannis jerseys, Greece flags, and
Mm-hmm.
all of that on Cherry Blossom
On
night.